John, is your passport updated, or will you be making the trek to Madrid for Week 11? I know I'm jumping way forward in the schedule, but that's one of the highlights is that the Commanders are being featured in an international game.
My passport is up to date, so I'll be good to go. And that's listen, man. The one thing initially that you're dreading was possibly Brazil, because that was not an enjoyable trip for people who went last year. And I love Spain, so that's a great one.
What were the issues with Brazil? I know that crime was a big thing as far as the league was concerned, as far as securing the teams. What were the hang-ups for media that was traveling?
Crime and traffic. Okay. And I know our reporter who was there, he told me it took him 2 hours to go 15 miles or something like that, to go from the hotel to the practice facility, and they're just, I don't know, there was, I think there were a lot of safety concerns as well. So not an ideal place. I don't understand that. But Spain 100 times better for for anybody else. So that's going to be a great one.
So John, I've kind of declared the Commanders the NFL's sexiest team. And I feel like it's somewhat vindicated with the way this schedule plays out. I don't know exactly, what is it, five primetime games, and then people are calling them standalone games, I guess, like a 4:30 Fox
National
game.
National window games,
yeah. So they're right up there with anybody else, and I think this schedule kind of proves that.
I mean, it's, someone here told me, blame Jaden. Because they're not only good, but they have one of the most exciting young players in the game.
Right.
So the combination of that, I think this is a franchise that people, certainly now, I think it means something when they do well, right? And it's better for the league, I think, when this team's better. And then you add Jaden Daniels on top of that, and he's a great face for the league as they move forward, And so I think they're very marketable, which is, I laugh because I still, every time I say this or talk about this, you think 2 years ago, man, look at where we are with this, but it's true. And I mean, he went overseas earlier this offseason as part of NFL promotional stuff over to France. So they clearly understand or feel like they have something here in them and in this team and him.
So, John, for the creatures of habit that have watched this team for so long, that are used to just turning on their TV at 12:30 on a Sunday, getting ready for that
to the West Coast.
That standard 1 p.m. game. Yeah, it's not going to happen because from Week 5 through Week 13, they don't have a single 1 p.m. game on the slate. That's quite a departure for this team.
And it's, seeing what I hear for me is God, you're not getting any sleep.
Yeah.
So because that's a brutal stretch. But they're only what we have. There's the first game is a 1 o'clock game. 3 of the first 4 are 1 o'clock. So they kind of tease you, and then a couple of the last ones are 1 o'clock. And that's fine. But that's a rough stretch. And I also wonder, just for the preparation for the team, how that affects them, right? Because they're traveling a lot of miles, and then it's just a different week when you're having those kind of games, in terms of recovery, et cetera, that what's the impact there? I felt like last year they were a very fresh team, and you wonder, will there be – I would say this too, one of the things that I think Dan Quinn is very good at is not letting things become excuses. And so I think whatever situation you have, you embrace it. But that's a challenging stretch for a couple of reasons, in addition to the teams that they're playing.
Yeah, and part of that stretch, I think the league actually took care of the Commanders here, whereas in years past you would think the league didn't really do them any favors, because sandwiched around that international game, they have back-to-back home games against Seattle and Detroit. Then they have the trip to Madrid. Then they've got a bye week. And then they come out of the bye with another home game.
Correct.
So, I think they actually looked into it and did some planning around there.
Oh, for sure. And I think, absolutely they did. And those Yes, they did. I agree with that, and that's a help. And you have to have the bye afterwards. I mean, sometimes some teams request not to have it but yeah, I think having the home games after that, before and after, definitely helps.
All right, when you look at it from afar, John, I mean, obviously, I don't think the schedule is easy this year, right? It's gone up significantly from last year. But is there a stretch that you say, okay, this might be a better stretch for them, and then this might be maybe on paper a more difficult stretch? Certainly at the end, with closing out with like 4 division games.
Well, 4 division games, but also Denver and Minnesota. Those are 2 good teams, and you're playing them back-to-back, and then you get into 4 straight division games. Like, that's a tough finish.
Mm-hmm.
And now here's the entire NFC East has tough schedules according to percentages from last year, right? Win percentage from last year. And I think of those 4, I think the Commanders have the easiest of the hardest, if that makes sense. But it's not. I mean, it is definitely a hard schedule.